courses and programs or hiring more people. In this video, we're going to talk about which is actually better if you want to get out of the day-to-day of your business. I think that the truth is that both courses, group programs, memberships, these more leveraged programs, and hiring and building your team have advantages and disadvantages, but they're incomplete solutions, right? You can have courses and group programs, you can do hiring, but on their own, they're incomplete solutions. They don't actually allow for that getting out of the day-to-day. So why don't you talk a little bit about how you've seen that when we've been working with clients in terms of, where the highly leveraged programs, all that kind of thing, where do they fall short? Why is it not enough to just create a course?
Well, oftentimes it's about the client experience and the engagement of the clients themselves. Because so often when we have a course or a program or a membership site, anything like that, what ends up happening is we're removing ourselves, and often not even intentionally, removing ourselves from being in front of the clients to kind of being almost behind them,
right,
with how we've developed our programs.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing,
no,
right? And in fact, in a lot of cases, group programs can be more powerful because you get the interaction, people get to see what's going on with each other, and the leverage is a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Being able to work with more clients at once is a benefit, and it's a good thing, but it's also incomplete.
Yeah.
So, and you were saying it's incomplete because it creates separation and distance that doesn't necessarily serve the client.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I thought you were going to say more on that.
No, well, you said a statement. And
I see. But the flip side is true, too, with hiring, right? So hiring is a solution where you want to be creating more of that connection. You want to be able to be having more contact with people. Maybe you want to have that more high-touch work, but it's also incomplete.
Yes.
In terms of because we're talking about getting out of the day-to-day, right? And people think that if I just hire more people, I'm going to get out of the day-to-day, but that's an incomplete solution.
Yeah, especially if you're not leveraging your offer quite well, or not quite well, sorry, that's a bad word. But if you're not really leveraging your offer, you're not taking into account quantities of scale, what ends up happening is you have what we call linear growth, where you hire on a person and they're only able to take on the same number as the person before them or yourself.
It's like incremental growth, right? Like you can maybe add 5 clients, but then you need to add another person, and then you get another 5 clients, and then or maybe 50 clients, whatever the number is,
but the number 5 doesn't ever change. So you don't actually get yourself out of the weeds because all you're ever doing is just adding on 5 more people for every one person.
Right.
And it's the same thing day after day.
Right. And because, when we go this kind of high touch hiring model, you start to get different people have different ways of doing things. You start to have different approaches, different views. And so then you're getting down into the weeds of either making sure that everyone is doing things the same way and the way that you would do them or consistently or whatever that looks like. And you're getting further into the weeds there, or you're kind of stepping back and you're letting other people, make decisions, which, we encourage that. Mm-hmm. But what happens sometimes is that they start creating fires and then you have to come in and they can't put out their own fires. So you have to come in and put out the fires for them.
Yeah.
Right. And so, when the courses and group program side uses leverage to help you serve more people with less resources, but it doesn't get you out of the day-to-day because you're still having to create the resources. You're still having to, get in and do some engagement with the clients and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you've just changed where you're doing the work,
exactly.
Not anything else.
And it's the same thing in hiring. It's not that you're getting out of the day-to-day. You're just changing which day-to-day maybe that you're focused in, and now you're focusing more on managing or training or that kind of thing. And so neither courses nor programs really give us what we want, which is the ability for your business to run itself. Because what we need is for the business to run itself, and that's when you can focus on the things you want to be doing instead of being in the day-to-day.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when we're talking about a business that runs itself, what are the ingredients of that? Because it's not leverage and it's not hiring. Those are incomplete solutions. What is it that really allows a business to run itself?
It's when you actually start to match your team to the kind of client experience and the kind of business even, not just the client experience. It's a holistic thing when you match your team to that entire vision.
Yeah, right. So an example of that is, and talking about memberships, right? You can do this in a membership situation. One of our clients has a thriving $1 million+ business based on a membership site, but they're not just using leverage to be able to grow and scale it, right? It's not just keep putting more and more people into this highly leveraged membership. They've complemented it by bringing in other elements, and as you said, asking how can not just blindly hiring help, but how can the right team in the right way be used as a catalyst for that client experience.
Exactly. And then that leads into things like retention and referrals and all of those kinds of things that just grow you further.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's about finding the key elements of both leverage and hiring, but then supplementing it with the systems and structures that allow the client experience, whatever that looks like, to be delivered without the manual intervention of you or any one particular person on your team.
Yeah.
And similarly, on the team side, it's not just enough to hire and train people. What we really want is for the team to be self-managing, for them to be able to put out their own fires, for them to be able to come up with ways to improve the client experience without us needing to be in there managing or telling people what to do or having to drive them and focus their momentum.
And for them to feel like they can bring all of that to the table. Because so often, they want to, they have all these great ideas, but they don't feel like they've got the opportunity or the space to have them.
Yeah. So really, when it comes to this hiring versus courses, both of these are great in theory, right? Go the agency route, build a course, scale the group program, whatever it is. They're great in theory, but really what we need is a custom solution, right? We can't just say build a course. We can't just say hire a team. We need to find a custom solution that's going to, as you said before, match the client experience that you want to have with the kind of team that you want to have, and then add into that the unique structures, the unique systems, the unique frameworks and processes, and all of those things.
And purpose.
Yeah.
Like why do you want to do this? Your passion. Like if you don't have that in there too.
Yeah. Like you need to, so yeah, you can change your model, right? You can go hiring and build an agency, you can go courses and build and leverage, but it's going to be incomplete unless you can back it up with the systems and the structures and the purpose and the culture and those elements which are going to be unique and custom to you. That's what you need to put in place, or else hiring or course, building courses or whatever is never actually going to get you out of the day. It's never actually going to create this business that runs itself and frees you up to do the work that you want to do. So, I mean, that's what we do with our clients, right? Is it's not cookie cutter. Some of our clients end up going more of a course route. Some of our clients end up going more of an agency route. Most of them end up with some form of hybrid where they take the best of both worlds. But it's not the model that makes the difference. It's not the model that gets them out of the day-to-day. What gets them out of the day is the structures and the frameworks that are put in place in order to be able to create the freedom that you want to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I guess the answer to the question of courses versus hiring is it's the wrong question, right? That's whichever one you go, you need to supplement it with these frameworks, with these solutions, and that sort of thing, because that's what's going to free you up, and that's what's going to get results for people while freeing you up to do the things that you really want to be doing. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to say on that.
Just to kind of reiterate that it's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So many people say, oh yeah, just do this. Yeah. It's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It's going to be different for everyone because you're different and your business is different. That said, the structures, the outline of the structures, the outline of the support system behind it is very similar. It's just a matter of how you implement it.
Yeah, it's like these are the frameworks. How are you going to adjust this framework for your situation?
Exactly.
And that's what we've done in the Visionary CEO Academy. So we are enrolling right now for the Academy, where we will work with you to put in place the structures and the systems and the frameworks that will allow you to really have a business that runs itself without necessarily having to change your model. Or even if you are changing your model, it'll put those structures in place so that whatever that model looks like, you can have the ability to get out of the day-to-day, be able to have that business that runs itself, and be able to have a business that is going to really allow you to do the things that you want to be doing and spending your time there.